Hey everybody, and welcome back to How to Art. And I mean welcome back because it's been a while, and that's actually the topic of today's episode. How to Art is the podcast for dream chasers, those looking to leave desk jobs, or just, anyone looking to take their passion, their creative thing, and make it a little bigger part of their life than it might be right now. As usual, I am your host, Petravita, making hip-hop and... I don't know, a lot of noises from outside the window. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about today, dive right into a quick episode. It's relevant to what's been going on, which is that I haven't checked in on the podcast for a while. And while I wanted to apologize for that, a big thing I also wanted to do is give people permission to be okay with pauses and not let pauses be ends. And what I mean by that is that there have been quite a few people I've come across since starting to do more and more creative work who it becomes obvious that the lows and the setbacks get them down in a way that ripples out past whatever actual event or lull or time period where they're not able to do as much. And it can be kind of tragic, the effect that has. As an example, just because I haven't recorded an episode in a while doesn't mean I shouldn't continue with this podcast. Or a few weeks ago, my cousin was by and I kind of took the time that he was here as my own vacation as well. I wasn't doing as many of the live streams some of you guys may know about that I do, or just writing as many songs, putting things out, trying to seek out as many shows. And after about a week of that, I was a little bit down that I hadn't accomplished as much. And we've got some construction going on in the apartment right now here where I'm living, and again, not able to kind of stick to my routine. But one thing that is, I think, really important is for people to think critically about the things that they can't control, and even something you can control and you decide to spend time on something else. Don't beat yourself up about that or feel like it means that you can't jump right back in where you left off. For example, a lot of times people, humans are habitual, right? The more we do something, the more often we do something. That's why it's so beneficial to build a habit by doing something a little bit each day. When you don't do that, it has the opposite effect, though, where it can seem that much harder to get over that first little hump to get back into something if you haven't done it in a long time. And so I think a lot of people get stuck in that scenario, and recording this today while we're even getting ready to take a trip for a long weekend, I think I wanted to kind of prove that to myself a little bit, hop back in. I want to let people know that if you're at a stage right now in your life where you have a pause in something, don't think that a pause means an ending. Don't think that just because something is a certain way now, that's how it will always be. And there's a really interesting concept I think I've talked about before in another episode, but I wanted to talk about it right now for sure, called, in economics, called the sunk cost fallacy. And this is kind of the thing I want to end on today. And the sunk cost fallacy basically states that everything that you've put in to an effort, an enterprise, be it a business or a life decision, every resource that's gone into that up until the present moment should not factor into your decision making in the present moment if you were perfectly logical about it. Now, we are not perfectly logical as humans, and that's why we fall victim to this fallacy a lot. Let me give you an example. Let's say someone is they're going to college, and they realize they don't like what they're studying at all. They have the opportunity to do something else, but they think, hey, I've already gone to 2 years of college. I've already put in this much money. I've already built up this much debt, etc., etc. I've spent 2 years of my life. I might as well finish it out. I might as well do it, even though I'm not happy, or even though from here forward, if I was only thinking about the best decision for me from this point forward, none of that stuff would factor in. And that part of the sentence that says, I might as well because I already have, those words are extremely, extremely dangerous because you trick yourself in that scenario, and it can what you actually end up doing is wasting more time or more resources on something that isn't what you actually want. A lot of times we justify these types of decisions for ourselves or to impress someone else, or because a family member, a parent, or a partner, whoever, friends, you're worried about how you'll be judged, and so we let that kind of past expectations sink into the decision-making process as well. When I started out making music, I've gotten more and more and more comfortable with saying what I want to say, but it was a little bit hard thinking I've never been a rapper. I've never been someone who's making music, or that's not how people have known me, and having to get over that mental hump of, are people going to think this is silly? Are people going to want to talk me out of it and say it won't work? Are people going to be like, that's not really him, that doesn't fit him? And at the end of the day, everything that I'd been up until that point, or done up until the point where I made that decision, really didn't matter once I started doing it. And it's been some of the best, 8 or so months of my life here since really jumping into making what I want to do full time. So I wanted to just touch on that a little bit today and encourage anyone who's in this sort of decision-making process, who's thinking, should I or shouldn't I? I haven't done this thing before, or I haven't done it for a while. It feels silly to jump back in. It feels hard to jump back in. It feels like a waste of time to jump back in because I haven't been practicing during this X amount of last years or months or whatever, and all these other people have, and so they're ahead of me, and what's the point? None of those things actually matter. None of those thoughts get you anywhere beneficial. And so if you're thinking about doing something, like I've said at least twice here, pauses are not endings. Jump back in, do your thing, be encouraged. Hey, when this is coming out, we're almost to a weekend, so if that's the time that you drive the most and you feel the best, then enjoy that. But get back on the horse, wherever you're at, whatever you do. And hey, you've got at least one supporter here. You guys can always reach out to me. I'm at Petravita or at Petravita Music on any social platform. Get at me. That's it. No more self-promo to close out this episode. I just wanted to give that message to you guys, and I will be doing my best to be recording these more often. All the best. Peace.